With the New Year festivities in full throttle and the game's release on PC, I thought this would be the perfect time to replay Spider-Man Miles Morales, and damn it, I like this game even more on the second go. The music is once again composed by the legendary John Paisano, but this time around, the music leans more into a hip-hop vibe, which if you know me,
this is great.
It still has that larger-than-life superhero orchestral feel to it, but now there's also lo-fi-esque beats thrown into the mix, which on paper seems like a bad idea, but it is executed literally flawlessly. This gives the music more character and makes it unique to Miles while still retaining the OG Insomniac-verse Spider-Man feel. Spider-Man Miles Morales has some of the best sound mixing ever. If this game's soundtrack was an abusive partner, it'd get charged for slapping so hard. Unlike the last game, thankfully there's also more than just one song. You got Lyre coming in with This Is My Time, Kid Cudi with On My Own, and Jaden with the political and economical state of the world
right now.
But like the last game, the music here also adds up sensationally with the gameplay. The traversal system has seen some great updates. There's more air tricks now, which all have their own specific transitions into swinging, which is such a great addition to the game. There's also more incentive to actually perform the air tricks, as well as they recharge Miles' Venom meter, which allows you to Venom dash and Venom jump. Because of these moves, it is quicker than ever to gain speed or height. This means you can immediately start going fast as soon as you leave the ground, and when you're actually in the air, you can avoid obstacles to preserve your momentum better. Yeah, the Venom moves just add another layer of fun to the traversal, man. Some other smart decisions include stuff like charge jump being unlocked from the start. The animations that Miles has for swinging feel free, wild, and spontaneous, as opposed to Peter's more composed and calculated ones, which is really in line with Miles being new to this whole Spider-Man thing and just makes you have that masculine urge to say the exaggerated swagger of The game takes place in the same map as before, but this time during the Christmas holidays. There's snow everywhere, there's more opportunities for the game engine to show off its weather effects, decorations lighting up the streets. The last time I experienced a Christmas setting this well realized in a video game was with Batman Arkham Origins. Now the problems with traversal that I mentioned in my Why Spider-Man is a Masterpiece video, like the normal wall climbing and too much accessibility for its own good, still exist, but the new additions add upon what was already a great traversal system and make it feel even better and feel even less repetitive than before. There's just more options here, man, and I think this overall is just an objectively better swinging system than its predecessor. Moving on to the combat side of things, there's been some major changes here as well. As I mentioned before, instead of a focus meter, Miles has a Venom meter, which allows him to heal or perform different Venom-based attacks like Venom Punch, Venom Dash, and even this. This time around though, the finishers are earned by reaching a certain combo, which is much more similar to the Arkham games, but the good thing is, here the finishers can be stored. Miles doesn't have as many gadgets as Peter, but the ones he does have are fun and go really well with his other powers. For example, my favorite is to use the Gravity Mine and the Venom Ground Slam together. Woo! The attacks are satisfying as ever with absolutely stunning visual and audio effects, but once again, realistically, I can't help but feel that Spidey is straight up murdering these poor bastards. Okay, he's fucking dead. I also love how Miles' new powers are integrated with the finishers and stealth takedowns, and while we're on that topic, stealth has received a very major upgrade in my opinion. It is still kind of basic and the enemies are stupid at times, but at least now you have more options to take him down. Say hallelujah, guys, because first of all, we finally have wall and ceiling takedowns in a Spider-Man game again. I also just love the Shock Mine gadget.
Triple kill!
Oh, and did I mention that Miles also has the ability to go invisible? This means that we can finally go in and out of head-on combat and switch to stealth combat whenever we want, which is super appreciated and allows for players to switch between playstyles on the go. There's also a few upgrades which allow you to tie together the invisibility and Venom powers. And speaking of the upgrades, the skill trees are pretty similar other than the fact that certain skills are only earned through challenges, which I'll talk about in a bit. In the combat as well, the animations are adjusted to better fit Miles' character. The enemy variety is decent. The main new enemy type of the game are the underground, where the catch is, you can break their equipment using Venom attacks. The rest are just your normal street thugs and Roxxon guards, which are basically just recolored Sable agents from the last game. This time, unlocking the various beautiful suits in the game unlocks suit mods instead of suit powers, out of which my personal favorite are obviously the Spider-Verse ones. Like, I have to appreciate this separately, man. When you put on the suit and use the animation mods, it literally feels like Spidey was ripped straight out of the movie. The only problem I have with the combat is that sometimes the invisibility power can take all the difficulty away from the fights because it is just really easy to exploit. You don't have to cheese the game using it, but you can. Now before moving on to the open world, let's talk about the graphics and performance. Spider-Man Miles Morales is every bit as stunning as its predecessor and even more in some aspects, which is really a remarkable achievement. The weather and particle effects here are insanely good. Details like snow deformations are very abundant. Other than some stutters here and there, the performance on PC is also very good and somehow even better than its predecessor in some parts of the city. On PS4, the game is pretty much locked at 30 FPS with some very occasional frame drops on super intensive scenes. The open world, as I mentioned before, goes all in with the Christmas setting and it is super immersive. It is actually baffling that it took us this many years to get a winter-themed Spider-Man game. There's snow everywhere, everyone is wearing jackets, the stores on the streets are themed accordingly. What I'm trying to say is, it's the same map as the previous game, but it makes the most of its different setting to still feel somewhat fresh, just like Miles' new cut. God damn! What you actually do in the city is also pretty much the same, just with some minor differences. Backpacks are now called time capsules, the basic random event structures like the robberies or car chases remain the same, but with Miles' spin on the situation. The outpost type missions are the same as well, with the only major improvement being the ability to switch between stealth and head-on combat. The only really new activity in the game is the mixtape creation, which is okay, I guess. I mean, the game could have done without it. What is a modern open world game without some Ubisoftification of things? The different challenges in the game are now given by Peter instead. The traversal ones are good. The stealth challenges here are way better than the last game and are actually challenging sometimes. The combat challenges, however, don't feel as fun to play since now you're just fighting holograms instead of actual people. Like, come on game, I want to feel the satisfaction of hate crimes, goddammit. Well, at least all this side content is nicely rewarding. The side missions though are just way better this time around, and they explore the friendly neighborhood aspect of Spider-Man really well while still feeling more personal to Miles. What also feels more personal to Miles is the story. Spider-Man Miles Morales takes place a year after the first game, and the story once again begins with a song, but this time it is more ground level and down to earth rather than adrenaline pumping, which is a subtle but nice touch. Soon enough, Peter calls Miles to watch over Rhino's transfer to the raft, and after that, saying that things go south would be a massive understatement.
Going down. Helix 2 is going down. Brace, brace, brace.
Hello, tiny spiders.
One absolutely insane chase sequence later, Peter gets injured and it is up to Miles to defeat Rhino, which he does by discovering his new Venom power.
Back the hell?
After a nice boss fight, Simon Krieger, the CEO of Roxxon Corporation, who is definitely not evil, arrives to supposedly hold on to Rhino for the police. Bootleg Tom Holland then says that he has to leave the city for a few days, which makes Miles
New York's only Spider-Man.
the Ultimate Spider-Man soon discovers that a gang called Underground led by the Tinkerer are after Roxxon Corporation, and he now has to stop both groups from destroying his new home, Harlem. The rest is up to you to find out, and I won't spoil anything major. The thing that I absolutely adore the most about this game's story is there's just so much more ground level human interactions that really give this game a feeling of realistic warmth. You can see recurring NPCs that hit home and reminding you who Spider-Man really does what he does for. This is as much of a story of Miles as it is the story of the people. It is the story of Miles growing into and the people accepting him as their Spider-Man. And damn it, I just smile so hard every time Miles interacts with his mom in this game. Obviously, the acting performances from everyone in the cast is top notch, but Najee Jeter deserves a special mention because this man is literally perfect as Miles.
Hey, you think you're gonna add that new Spider-Man too?
The kid? Yeah, maybe. Original's just my guy, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Original's my guy too. I also like how Miles' new powers are integrated into the missions, especially the invisibility one. What I don't like is the villains of the game. First, the Tinkerer. This version of the Tinkerer is just not for me. They try to give Tinkerer some depth, but it just feels like the same cliche, I'm doing the right thing but the wrong way type of villain without any differentiating qualities. It could also just be that I like the classic one from the comics and the other games, so this one just doesn't cut it for me. Yeah, I just don't think the Tinkerer is very well written here. Second, surprise surprise, Simon Krieger. Did I just, holy shit, I just said Simon Creamer. Second, Simon Krieger. All I can say about this guy is just that he is one social media platform acquisition away from being just a more expressive version of Mark Zuckerberg. The actual boss fights though are good. I mean, there's not as many as the last game, but the ones that do exist definitely feel like they have a purpose to exist, unlike people who pay for OnlyFans. The set pieces are also still incredible with some of the best choreography in a modern superhero property. And what I also love about them is that they display that Miles is still learning to deal with these extreme situations, unlike Peter, for whom this shit is just like
Monday. Yeah, it's Monday.
So in conclusion, while it may not be as ambitious or as long, but Spider-Man Miles Morales is still one of the best Spider-Man related properties ever created that builds upon its predecessor in meaningful ways to provide an ultimate experience that shows what it truly means to be a hero. Spider-Man Miles Morales once again shows what it means to be greater, but this time it also shows us the greatness in being yourself. Thanks for watching everyone, can't wait for Spider-Man 2.